All right, let's go to Idaho. We'll talk with Douglas. Hi, Douglas.
How are you doing today?
Hey,
I'm a first-time listener,
great.
and I was listening to your message this morning, and I just want to check a couple ideas from my theology as I've come up. I came up from a secular life. I was a systems engineer, so I see the world from a systems viewpoint.
Yeah.
And I tell people that not to impress them about where I am, but give them a reference point from where I'm coming.
Okay.
And what I wanted to say is because of all my experience in dealing with people, what I find, especially with myself, is I struggle with definitions of words. And we as a people tend to use certain words and assume that other people have the same meaning of them.
Okay, I'm getting worried. I'm getting worried because we're going to run out of time. So we got about 4 minutes. Yeah.
Let me say, you're using the word sin, but to me, sin is simply whenever I make a decision based upon my desires instead of God's, that's a sin.
Okay. And I would say it's the opposite. It's the polar opposite of what you just said. And I want you to consider that because that assumes that your desires are sinful. And in fact, it assumes that your desires are always sinful. And the scriptures say the opposite. I'm going to give you several scriptures that show that. And the first one is Romans 6, verse 17. And it says that we have become obedient from the heart. So the heart represents your desires. Your desires are now good, not bad. That's what we're teaching. And yes, there is the flesh. The Greek word for that is sarx. The definition of flesh is trying to make life work apart from Christ. It's attitudes, it's perspectives, it's philosophies, it's coping mechanisms. It's the way of the world. But you are not the flesh. You're a person. You're a child of God. God gave you a new heart and a new spirit, Ezekiel 36. He made you obedient from the heart, Romans 6. God is at work in you to want and to do of His good pleasure. That describes your want, your want-tos. If any man is in Christ, he's a new creature. The old is gone. The new has come. God has written His desires, His laws, His desires on your heart and on your mind. That's Hebrews 8. So you have a new set of desires. That definition of sin is going to hide the truth from you. If you continue to believe that sin is anything you desire, you will live a miserable life. And so I want to give you a new definition of sin. Anything that is not trusting Jesus is sin. Anything that is not of faith is sin. And, I want to give you a corollary, and that is this, that everything you truly want is righteousness. Everything you truly desire agrees with God because you are the new self, you're the new creation, you have a new heart, you have new desires, you're a slave of righteousness, you can't get away from it. God is working in you to want what He wants. So don't be afraid of your desires. Hate the desires of sin. Hate the desires of the flesh. Hate the desires of the world. But your name is Douglas, not the world. You are Douglas from Idaho. You're not the flesh. You are Douglas from Idaho. You are not sin. So you can hate the desires of sin, but don't hate your own desires. Recognize that you are the new self. I'm inviting you to see your identity in Christ. Your old self was crucified and buried. You are the new self. And you have an obedient heart, a new heart. So don't be afraid of your desires. Learn who you are and be yourself. And the crazy, wonderful thing about Christians is that we can be ourselves and express Jesus at the exact same time, because you're not an obstacle to him. You're his instrument and you're his child. So I want to put you back on, Douglas, and see if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. I agree with that, but my true nature as being part of the flesh, and that's what I need to look at.
Okay, so you don't have a true nature that's part of the flesh. There's no Bible verse that says that. You want to use the word nature, it rarely comes up, but here it is. You're a partaker of the divine nature, Peter says. Peter writes in his epistle that you're a partaker of the divine nature. So the phrase sinful nature was perpetuated by the NIV Bible for about 40 years. The publisher was Zondervan. Zondervan is also my publisher. They published The Naked Gospel. And in The Naked Gospel, I pointed out that term sinful nature is not really biblical. The word is flesh. The word nature is not in it. The Greek word is sarx. And so the flesh is not your nature. You have a spiritual nature that is now new. It's called the new man, the new self, the new creation. You can call it whatever you like. But if we're going to use Bible words, and if you're wanting good definitions, let me tell you this. Take that term sinful nature and toss it in the garbage. It's not going to do you any good. You don't have a sinful nature. You did. You had you were in the flesh, and you were sinful to the core. You were rotten. You were worldly. You were in Adam. But we use a term around here called being born again. And that's what happened to you, right? So how could you be born again and be the same person? How could you be born again and have the same nature? How could you be born of the Spirit and not be new? So that's what I'm saying. We're going to get the gospel straight. We're going to get it clear. We're not going to clutter it up. We're not going to mess it up with biblical inaccuracies or bad definitions. Yes, you still struggle with the flesh. What is the flesh? It's unrenewed mindsets, old attitudes, stinking thinking. Think about it as software glitches that you need updates in your software. But you have new hardware. You have a new heart. That's new hardware. A new heart, a new spirit, God's Spirit living in you, a new nature. You're in a vine branches relationship. You have an obedient heart. Make sure you learn your identity in Christ. It is the only identity you have. You are not two people. You're a new creature.